August 2nd, 2021, the St. Lawrence County Legislative meeting. And also, at this point, I'd like to have opening remarks said by Don Peck, former legislator, and the fair manager. Don, go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone. This is group number 5. This is year number 3. It's been 4. So, this is year number 3. This will be the first full board meeting we've ever done here. So we want to welcome everybody here. We appreciate you being here. I know things have changed the last 2 years. All the communication got a little more complicated than normal, but we welcome you back again. This is not a bad setup to work. The weather's cooperating. I don't want to take a lot of your time. This is the Legislators Fair, 162nd fair. Fair. And I know a couple of years ago, you were a little history on that. That's why I'm but the reason the county fair and the government fair are here is the county fair with the club and the government fair is off the St. Lawrence County Charter and moves the fair to the here. And the government one of the only 2 fairs that's taken after the charter. All that as far as I'm concerned up here, we need to do anything to have really set up for you to do that. Let me know what's going on. Quick fair week tomorrow night. We open with the Lone Star concert. That's going to be used. And the band facing that way, and the crowd is going to be that way. Seating on one side, standing on the other. To reach, we did that. We started planning that in March. It's over regulations, 50 to 60% of the grandstand. It would have been feasible to have a concert, taking the band that way, so we decided to do this way. Now that it's open, it's got full capacity grandstand, we still decided to do this way. The rest of the week, all the actions will be on the grandstand. Wednesday is our normal, usually band day, tournament parade. But again, due to the COVID, high school band is not hard, it's not practice much this year. The whole band we have, the government band, and those are practice in the background, the next one will stay away from the next guys. That's the new band we're going to have tomorrow night. We're not having band day tomorrow, but also today. Tomorrow night will be the partners, or the Wednesday night will be the partners parade as always. We have a lot of partners, big as always, just no band. And then on Thursday, we have a local talent show here. Friday, we do something different. We're having a rodeo. We're on the green stage starting at 2 o'clock and then at 8 o'clock tonight. And then Saturday night, we're having a total festival from 16 and 3 somebody at 1 o'clock. So that's what we're all see back in the fair. Enjoy your night here. GE down here is available. I got the open for you. So now the over the rest of the right now, good to go. Yeah, thanks. See you later, guys. Have a good day. See you later. Here.
Here.
Here. Here.
Tanisha.
Here. Here. Here.
Here. Patrick. Here. Yato. Here.
Here.
Turquoise. Here. Here. Curran. Here.
This time we have prayer, all of us pledge allegiance to the nation. And over here to my right. Pledge allegiance. Oh, excuse me, go ahead with prayer.
All right, please. Dear Father in heaven, we're grateful for the opportunity to gather here this evening. God, please be with us as we weigh the pros and cons of our constituents' requests. Give us, individually and as a body, the wisdom to best represent all of the residents of St. Lawrence County. Father, we also ask that you grant us the courage to
work with one another in singularity of purpose, so that we might achieve solutions that are best and just for all, that we may continue to boldly represent our constituents' needs and those of the most vulnerable among us. Grant us the strength to be thankful for the blessings that are bestowed upon us, and allow us to cast aside all envious thoughts and wishes. For all these things, we ask your blessing through your Son, our Lord, Jesus Christ, through whom all things are possible. Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America. Republic for which it stands, a nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Haggard? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approval of minutes. Motion to approve those minutes for July. Ms. Kern? Seconded by Guard Webb. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Communications. Ruth, do you have anything? Kelly? Citizen participation. Is there citizen participation tonight? If there is, great. Okay, that's good. Then I'll, when you address the board, please come to the microphone that's out there and state your name, and we'll give you 5 minutes to speak your concern. Okay, and so the first person up will be William Room, R-O-O-M-E, Room.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Last time I spoke. Commended you for seeing the problem in school, corruption at CPS, corruption versus children, adults with authority over children. That's eating the money, our national, here they be children with better needs. Their existence is real. Remember the Amish child? You're still at the I'm asking, I mean, I can see the list of missing children. For St. Helens County, in county, it's too long. So I'm asking you, please be careful. Please look at the evidence of the blue eyes objective. It was communicated to me by someone that I was contracted. I thought about costs and I chewed on it for a while. At least 9 men and women who are coming to you asking you to fight for children, to fight corruption. This cost is alien. What's the alternative? It's unusual. Children dying, families separated, child living sex in our schools, our church, our community. Not cause. Not here for cause. You said this just rethink why you're here. I knew only a few of these people before I began my campaign against sexual abuse in schools. These people all have different stories. This is not an agenda. There are people who want our young men and women and children to stay healthy. Not a problem. It's not an issue. On the July meeting, I gave information that one of you was leveraging tax dollars to appoint a new commissioner. This, in my mind, was corruption. As a citizen, I communicated that I didn't want tax to be used in this election. The small firestorm that ensued was not expected. Needless to say, another arrest threat was issued to me from the legislature. Is it really that insidious, that evil, that rooted in politics? Here that law enforcement retaliation cease. A place where perjury will be prosecuted and mayors are threatened because they have long reaches into law enforcement. I said something about I have interest in this question before some information about certain records on the DUI. I've been in this DUI case. I've pleaded, begged, sent motions to the trial. I am without a license 2 years. That's corruption. Right? So Mr. Button refused soil information because he said, I have pending litigation against the county. I have no case against the county. All I'm saying is the false charges that the county has against me. Mr. Button not providing information that can help me. So I ask you, please, Mr. Button, of the investigation. I believe you have conflict of interest with the county. We all need to be on the same page. Believe me, I'm with you. We don't oppose you. I'm not fighting you. We are pleading with you to do what's right and listen to these voices. Pointing out like this county is too big. We need to protect these kids. Please, let's do it together. It's zero to one. Let's do it right.
Thank you. Mary Skelly?
Good evening, St. Louis Legislators, and Vacancy. I also learned of some gossip on the meeting last month. Board associations, the ones who met the Washington School Board proposed online mandatory education school that would protect our children getting to school. We would propose them again, putting them on computers and traffickers who are our precious children out of home. So when I was leaving, superintendent something following me, he wasn't after me. I don't understand him. He was after Mr. Rowe. He was out constantly. Okay, so I'm coming back again, and I'm coming back over and over. I'm proposing online for education schools to protect our children. Our most vulnerable is afraid of them, and we're to represent them. My daughter is a child trafficking victim in the world since we never tried. I just got a letter today, another abuse investigation. She was moved to a boys' detention center. She is a sex trafficking victim who, along with 6 other girls, is housed in a boys' detention facility. She begged not to go. Begged. I lost. New York State Journal replied, she needed mental help that she's never received for years. She was being deleted. A victim of self-sacrifice by Judge Cynthia Morris. The charge is egregious. It is absolutely egregious. The abuse that my daughter faces every day in Office of Children and Family Services. Nobody gives a daughter. I lost the innocence of being a mother. She lost her innocence. And now I'm going to take her Constitution. I have freedom of association. I had to ask Mr. I got to know him because somebody almost went me on the road. So, really, a quick start today. Yes, 40 years school board member who was a justice. Mr. Brady referred this news back in the day. He was removed from the bench for sexual exploitation. That is facts. And he's been on the school board making decisions with children for 20 years. 20 years, that's an indictment on the community. That is an indictment on the community to remove day one. But he's been allowed to walk for 20 years. So, solutions for TPS, how to use the black for each practice extreme crime. The sheriff should be in charge of this. We should be prosecuting these people who have these problems. TPS remove children based on hearsay evidence, coming in home without search warrants. How we're removing children, nuclear families being poured out. And it is so detrimental. I have lost enough. Enough has been stolen from me. And I'm starting to do background checks with very people on Casey right here. Who has some thieves sitting in front of me? You're not going to steal my freedom of speech. You're not going to steal my freedom of association. We have someone who's in charge of that, right in the 20 less than 500. She knows who she is, but you're not going to gossip about it. I'm asking you to please push into legislation online, mandatory safety of these schools, let's get these children the education of let's keep them safe, protected from predators. You're telling me the circle, letting the predators and keeping them home 100%. I've got it right on my phone. You must have it on your phone too, predators. I assisted with the search and rescue of the missing 13-year-old 2 Saturdays ago. She walked to the door of the phone. Her phone was in a room recently recovered. A depressed, anxious child is in their phone. Let's keep them safe in the phone. Thank you.
Thank you. Rachel, Ruben? Are you being Ruben?
Good evening. Thank you for letting us spend some time to speak. I am a local practitioner. I am also amongst the 30+ families we have as an organization of the child that has been done wrong by the St. Louis County CPS. I am one of many moving forward child organizations, community helping individuals community stress. Collectively, we are a voice to children. Collectively, we are here to work in a collaborative way to revamp, restructure in ways or at least evaluate the needs for change within the St. Lawrence County CPS. Job 19, verse 7. Look, I cry out concerning wrong, but I am not heard. I cry aloud, there is no justice. I am about 2.5 years into a very sad and disheartening experience of CPS living at a family park. I am yet to find an advocate for the children besides me and the family. CPS has taken no measures to regrow the bonds and foster a normal family function. In my education, I'm currently licensed and actively practicing in Vermont, New Hampshire, as well as New York. When I was in training and I've been in healthcare, the CPS is the safety net for our children. The CPS's ultimate goal when severe sexual or physical assault should be to reunite and rebond with family unit. That was far, the farthest from the experience I had with CPS. And I shared with you last month of the 18 child abuse charges that I was charged of or not charged, allegedly happened. 17 were out of New York State jurisdiction. Myself included, along with the 30+ families that will be coming forward, we have all faced retaliatory action. I have personally faced repetitive retaliatory action for standing up for the best interests of my two children. Religious discrimination. I am so pleased that you guys open with prayer and that we call the Lord Jesus Christ into our decision making. My children, their religion was referred as cults at a caseworker. My children were denied the right to go to church when I am a pastor, and they have been almost every Sunday since the time we were born. My children had a lot of additional examples. When a situation happens, and a caseworker, after I call repetitive 8 months in, months out, I get 3 hours twice a week with my children for 2.5 years. Well, other than the 9 months in the middle, that was total physical separation. Custody agreement has 50% visitation, but CPS, I guess, can step over 18. Privacy under jurisdiction, misrepresentation of medical documentation. I have the FOIA request. It's interesting because if you look at CPS, you see one story. If you look at my medical records and other parents, they say a different story. Interesting. Defamation of character, well, I don't need to go into that. I'm here to protect the children, to advocate for the children. I'm just really disheartened. I have not seen a bit of justice. And it's not only my children that I will stand for firm. I will stand for all of the children. So if you have time tonight, refer to Luke chapter 18, because I am the persistent widow. I am not going away. The voice of the child is not going away until justice is done to our children. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll go on to presentation resolutions. Ms. Kern.
Yes, I have a resolution modifying the 2021 budget for the Sheriff's Office for a 2020 Operation Stone Guard grant for the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services. And I move that resolution.
Is there a second? Mr. Smithers, seconds. Any discussion? No discussion. Roll call.
Reagan,
Yes.
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sheridan, Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Akers.
Yes.
Bay,
Yes.
yes. Piako, yes. Burke,
Yes.
Barclay,
Yes.
Terminelli, yes. Kern, yes. 14 yes. 1 no.
Motion carries. Ms. Kern.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair,
Oh,
Mr.
sorry,
Chair?
sorry.
Yes.
can you hear me?
Oh, how you doing?
I'd like to be a yes vote.
Your beer on.
Yeah, so just for information, the Don Peck and the other 3 speakers, you cannot hear one word, maybe 1 word out of 20. Very poor reception, very hard to hear this, and I'm sorry I wasn't able to get there in time, but it's very hard to hear this on this format, so. And I am here, I think, so, yeah.
Okay, thank you for the information.
Mr. Forsythe, how did you vote on the last one?
Can't hear that.
I'm going to call your name for the first vote. Forsythe,
I'm sorry?
She is going to call your name for the first vote, Dave. It's modifying the 2021 budget for the Sheriff's Office.
Yes, I'm a yes on that.
Yes. Okay. And you can hear us, you can hear me now?
I can hear you well, Bill.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Kern?
I have a resolution modifying the 2021 budget for the sheriff's office to accept a fiscal year 21 CTZ-8 Red Team exercise grant from the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services Offices, and I move that.
Is there a second? Mr. Denisha? Is there any discussion? No discussion? Have a roll call vote again, please.
Foresight,
Yes.
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Akers.
Yes.
Fay,
Yes.
Hager. Yes. Piako. Yes. Bert,
Yes.
Barclay.
Yes.
Terminelli. Yes. Kern. Yes. Reagan.
Yes.
Motion carries. Ms. Kern?
I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract with New York State Office of Homeland Security and to accept the fiscal year 21 State Homeland Security Preparedness Grant and modifying the 2021 budget for emergency services. Sheriff's Office.
Seconded by Lightfoot. Any discussion? No discussion? Roll call vote again.
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Akers,
Yes.
Fay,
Yes.
Hager. Yes. Piako. Yes. Bert,
Yes.
Barclay.
Yes.
Terminelli. Yes. Kern. Yes. Reagan.
Yes.
Forsythe.
Yes.
Motion carries. Ms. Kern?
I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract with the New York State Office of Homeland Security for a fiscal 20 PSAP grant modifying the 2021 budget for emergency services.
Second by Mr. Denisha. Any discussion? No discussion? Roll call.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Akers.
Yes.
Fay,
Yes.
Hager. Yes. Piako. Yes. Bert,
Yes.
Barclay.
Yes.
Terminelli. Yes. Kern. Yes. Reagan.
Yes.
Forsythe.
Yes.
Lightfoot.
Yes.
15 yes.
Motion carries. Ms. Kern?
I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a memorandum of agreement with the Department of Homeland Security to accept a temporary loan of the mutual link interoperable communication resources. Move that resolution.
Seconded by Mr. Lightfoot. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor?
I
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Ms. Kern?
I have a resolution modifying the 2021 emergency services budget for the proposed purchasing of an updated fit testing machine. Move that resolution.
Seconded by Mr. Smithers. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Akers.
Yes.
Fay,
Yes.
Hager. Yes. Piako. Yes. Bert.
Yes.
Barclay.
Yes.
Terminelli. Yes. Kern. Yes. Reagan.
Yes.
Forsythe.
Yes.
Lightfoot.
Yes.
Sheridan.
Yes.
15 yes.
Carried. Ms. Kern?
Okay, I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign necessary application documentation with the new New York State Office of Community Renewal for Community Development Block Grant Funds. I move the resolution.
Seconded by Mr. Akers. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
I
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Ms. Kern?
have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign an early voting expansion grant and modifying the 2021 budget for the Board of Elections. I move this resolution.
Seconded by Mr. Perkins. Any discussion? No discussion? Roll call vote.
Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Akers.
Yes.
Fay,
Yes.
Hager. Yes. Piaco. Burke.
Yes.
Barclay.
Yes.
Terminelli. Yes. Kern. Yes. Reagan.
Yes.
Forsythe.
yes,
Lightfoot.
Yes.
Sheridan.
Yes.
Smithers.
Yes.
15 yes.
Motion carried. Ms. Kern.
I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a technology innovation and election resource tier grant and modifying the 2021 budget for the Board of Elections. Move that resolution.
Seconded by Mr. Arquette. Any discussion? No discussion, roll call.
Perkins.
Yes.
Akers.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Hager. Yes. Piaco. Yes. Burke.
Yes.
Barclay.
Yes.
Terminelli. Yes. Kern. Yes. Reagan.
Yes.
Forsythe.
yes,
Lightfoot.
Yes.
Sheridan.
Yes.
Smithers.
Yes.
Denisha.
Yes.
15 yes.
Motion carried. Ms. Kern.
Authorizing the chair to sign a contract with Juniper Networks and Meridian IT to purchase replacement network switches and management software. And move that resolution.
Seconded by Mr. Smithers. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Ms. Kern.
I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract with the New York State Defenders Association for the public defender case management system, and I move this resolution.
Seconded by Mr. Akers. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution modifying the 2021 budget for community services for funding received from New York State Office of Mental Health as pass-through funding to approved agencies. Move for its adoption.
Seconded by Mr. Perkins. Any discussion? No discussion. Roll call vote.
Akers.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Hager. Yes. Piaco. Yes. Burke.
Yes.
Barclay.
Yes.
Terminelli. Yes. Kern. Yes. Reagan.
Yes.
Forsythe.
yes,
Lightfoot.
Yes.
Sheridan.
Yes.
Smithers.
Yes.
Denisha.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
15 yes.
Motion carried. Mr. Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution proclaiming August as National Immunization Awareness Month. Move for its adoption.
Seconded by Mr. Denisha. Any discussion? All in favor?
aye,
Carried. Mr. Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract extension with Health Research Incorporated, New York State Department of Health, for epidemiology and laboratory capacity, COVID-19 enhanced detection. Move for its adoption.
Seconded by Mr. Smithers. Any discussion? All Ms. Kern. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Read it. Go ahead.
Somebody can answer that. And that's the Delta variant, so that we can separate them. No.
Motion, all in favor again?
aye,
Carried. Mr. Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution modifying the 2021 budget for Public Health Department for COVID-19 response. Move for its adoption.
Seconded by Ms. Kern. Any discussion? No discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Hager. Yes. Piaco. Yes. Burke.
Yes.
Barclay.
Yes.
Terminelli. Yes. Kern. Yes. Reagan.
Yes.
Forsythe.
yes,
Lightfoot.
Yes.
Sheridan.
Yes.
Smithers.
Yes.
Denisha.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Akers.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
15 yes.
Motion carried. Mr. Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign contracts with area K through 12 public and private schools for COVID-19 screening, testing programs. Move for its adoption.
Second by Ms. Kern. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mr. Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract with Health Research Incorporated for epidemiology and laboratory capacity reopening schools. Move for its adoption.
Second by Ms. Kern. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign contracts with medical facilities and vendors for school screening, testing, and move for its adoption.
Second by Ms. Kern. Mr. Kern. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Lightfoot.
Chairman, I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract for the Early Intervention Administration Program for Public Health. Move for its adoption.
Seconded by Perkins. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract with Glens Falls Hospital for morgue and laboratory services. Move for its adoption.
Seconded by Mr. Stebbins and Ms. Kern. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract extension for the lead poisoning prevention program grant. Move for its adoption.
Seconded by Larry Denisha and Ms. Kern. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Mr. Lightfoot.
Chairman, I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract with Lamar Advertising for promoting the hepatitis A campaign and move for its adoption.
Seconded by Kern. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aging to receive New York State Office for the Aging funding from the American Rescue Plan for St. Lawrence County and move for its adoption.
Seconded by Ms. Kern. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Rennie,
Yes.
Haggard. Yes. Mansell. Yes. Swift.
Yes.
Farquhar.
Yes.
Cardinelli. Yes. Kern. Yes. Reagan.
Yes.
Barclay.
Yes.
Lightfoot.
Yes.
Sheridan.
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Denisha.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Chairman, I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a memorandum of understanding with maximizing independent living choices and move for its adoption.
Seconded by Heather. Any discussion? Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution authorizing the chair to sign the 2021 to 2022 local sponsor signature form for the grant applications of the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation, and move this resolution.
Seconded by Kern. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Mr. Aker.
Chairman, I offer a resolution modifying the 2021 budget for forestry for an increase of funds awarded to the Snowmobile Trail Grant, and move this resolution.
Seconded by Arthur and Mr. Kern. And is there any discussion? No discussion. We have a roll call vote, please.
Yato. Burke. Yes. Barclay. Yes. Terminelli. Yes. Curran. Yes. Reagan.
Yes.
Forsythe.
Yes.
Lightfoot.
Yes.
Sheridan.
Yes.
Smithers.
Yes.
Denisha.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Akers.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Hager. Yes. 15 yes.
Motion carried. Mr. Akers?
Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution that I would need to amend, but it's approving a federal and highway project for preliminary engineering and right of way for the Lazy River Road Bridge over the Grass River, bin number 3341, 820, pin number 775332, and modifying the 2021 budget for the Department of Highways. I move this resolution.
Do I have a second? Got a second from Mr. Curran.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to have some late breaking news in the first whereas. I'd like to cross out the 20% non-federal funds and replace it with 15% state Marchicelli funds and 5% local match. I would move that amendment.
Second by Mr. Curran. Sound good, speak good? Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Excuse me, but that was the resolution. The Lazy River stands.
Okay, so it's down on page 30. Okay. So I would like to withdraw my amendment. Later.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Even later, Rick. Thank you.
Appreciate it. We have to have that all and vote it on to withdraw. Okay, withdrawn.
Withdraw the second.
You okay, Rita, with this? Okay, withdrawn. All right, so you want to go back to the written resolution?
Yes, so.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Akers.
So the written resolution is as stated, it is approving federal aid highway project for preliminary engineering right away from Lazy River Road Bridge over the Grass River, bin 3341, 820, pin number 775332, to modify the 2021 budget for the Department of Highways. I move this resolution.
And seconded by Mr. Curran. And all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Roll call.
Is it a roll call? Okay, so it's a budget, man. We're gonna have a roll call on that. Go ahead, Ken.
Burke.
Yes.
Barclay.
Yes.
Terminelli. Yes. Curran. Yes. Reagan.
Yes.
Forsythe.
Yes.
Lightfoot.
Yes.
Sheridan.
Yes.
Smithers.
Yes.
Denisha.
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Akers.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Hager. Yes. Yato. 15 yes.
Motion carried. Mr. Akers?
Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract with Bartlett de Judas, DPC, for preliminary engineering right of way, incidentals, and final design for the Lazy River Road Bridge over the Grass River, bin number 3341, 820, pin number 775332. I move this resolution.
Seconded by Mr. Larry Denisha. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Carried.
So, Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution approving federal aid highway project for the fire engineering design for supplemental agreement number 4 for the County Route 35 known as Slab City Bridge over Trout Brook. Bin number 3341-700, bin number 775394. Move this resolution.
Seconded by Ms. Curran.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to offer an amendment to really recently late breaking news. In the whereas at the top, I would like to cross out the 20% non-federal funds and replace it with 15% state Marchicelli funds and 5% local match. And I would move that amendment.
Seconded by Ms. Curran. Any discussion on the amendment? No discussion? All in favor on the resolution?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I have my hand up.
Yes, you did.
You
Okay,
can see me?
what would you like to say?
What,
Go ahead.
what was the 5% local match amount?
That was-
Chambers, would you like to speak to that?
I will have to get back to you on that.
Mr. Chambers said he'll get back to you on that. Right now he doesn't have that information, but he will get back to you. Okay? Did you hear
Can't hear what.
Dave, did you hear that response?
No,
Mr. Don Chambers has said that he doesn't have that information at this time, but he will be getting back to you with that answer. Did you hear me?
no, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna vote on the resolution now. So all in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right. Ms. Kern?
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution modifying the 2021 budget for the Sheriff's Office Criminal Division for the purchase of a mobile motor for the Sheriff's Office.
Seconded by Mr. Manelli. Okay, let's have a roll call on this.
Barclay,
Yes.
Terminelli? Yes. Curran? Yes. Reagan?
Yes.
Forsythe?
No,
Lightfoot?
Yes.
Harriman?
Yes.
Smithers?
Yes.
Denisha?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Akers?
Yes.
Hank?
Yes.
Haggard? Yes. Yako? Yes. Burke?
Yes.
14 yes, 1 no.
Motion carries. Mr. Avery?
Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution adopting a policy for appropriate use of St. Lawrence County and multi-use trail funds and authorizing the use of county workforce and equipment, creation of a reserve for the recreation and trail fund. I move this resolution.
Seconded by Ms. Kern and Mr. Perkins. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Great.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to refer to Mr. Reagan to bring forth this resolution as it is.
Okay. I think we're gonna need a motion to remove it from the table.
Sure, I'd like to make a motion to remove this resolution from the table.
Motion's been made and Ms. Kern seconds it. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Yes. Mr. Stern.
Well, there is no exception.
There's no discussion?
I'm sorry.
No discussion on the table. Okay, seeing how there's no discussion on the table, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, it's been,
Mr. Chair, I'd like to propose a resolution endorsing the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, proposed Lake Ontario National Marine Sanctuary Boundary Alternative 1, and requesting that it be extended downriver to Moses Saunders Dam.
it's been moved, second by Ms. Kern. Any discussion? Go ahead.
Well, I think this might sound good. I think it sounds great. My reservation is turning over this area to somebody else to administer forever and ever, and that's where my concern lies. Is I'm not ready to give this away so that they can reign over this and decide what to be possibly of local landowners. I want to see some assurance that there'll be some local ability to have input on this administration of this sanctuary, instead of just having it out federally regulated.
I have the same concerns as Mr. Smithers.
very likely could lose any say that we have there. I won't be supporting this resolution at this time.
Mr. Chairman, I think that this organization is more suited for motions. And again, even then, I would not support it, because there's been many instances that, as both these gentlemen just spoke to, that local authorities seem to be nothing. Their opinion seems to be nothing. Once these organizations are in an area, they really bring a lot of revenue into the area, along with these, the ability to ultimately have a negative effect on any type of recreational boating, any type of fishing in an area. There's been many circumstances where local representatives had input or wanted to have input into any negativity around the fishing industry, and all of their concerns fell on deaf ears. So I will be supporting this this evening as well. Thank you.
Can we hear from our attorney, Mr. Button, as to what he knows about this and what they can actually do to affect our ability to govern things that go on? But I mean, they're saying they think it's
Mr. Chair, I think we already asked the county planning director to look into this. And wouldn't we be, I mean, you know, I have great deal of respect for Mr. Button, but we did not ask Mr. Button to research this. We did ask the county planning director, and I think he has a great deal of expertise in working with both state and federal agencies. And, you know, I think if we need someone to advise us on something, we should ask the person that we asked to research this, you know, in all deference to our county attorney.
This is one simple general observation, and I agree with you that this is that was provided to the director to address. Generally speaking, and as a constitutional political subdivision of the state, you don't have the ability to advocate more authority. This is the best thing when advocating this to carry out. So, without even getting into the merits of the issue, without getting into the specifics of the resolution, please, I can just speak to more ability to simply overweight more general authorities. So, the minority is a resolution ordinance. You don't have the ability to speak for the state constitution against that or the county as a that being said,
We could call on the planning director to let us know whether or not this is likely to create problems for our recreational boaters and our recreational anglers.
thank you. I had to talk about this sanctuary issue with Ruth about some material sort of finding some concerns. We was reached out to the authors of the article and distributed to the board. Unfortunately, I did not see any notification of response after the concerns at the Monterey Bay sanctuary. We will be beginning our organization the Fishermen's Association. We filed an economic development report from that organization that did cite concern about the sanctuary, but no detail. They did speak to the fact that their fishing industry is very robust in that part of the ocean off of moderate on other days. Basically, it's the show on Southern California, Central California, on days sanctuary from San Francisco south to St. Louis. So that kind of development report basically said that they had a very robust fishing industry. I also did reach out to the no representative from for closing the Lake Ontario Sanctuary, which is the one that and she encouraged me to speak with other representatives from more similar marine sanctuaries, the ones that can close in Ontario and St. Louis. There's one in Northern Michigan, where here in Michigan called Thunder Bay Marine Sanctuary. That was authorized by NOAA in the year 2000. So I had a pretty lively conversation with two individuals that were involved with they call it SAC, a Sanctuary Advisory Council, which is a local connection from the community with those sanctuaries. So two individuals that were involved or are involved with fishing charters, I actually called them back from their fishing boats. They're out fishing in the Lake Huron, and they both assured me that the marine sanctuary itself had no impact on the fishing industry, no negative impact on the fishing industry. They have licenses, permits, in part of the regulations as well, and I saw that not having any negative impact. The marine sanctuary effectively just manages the bottom of the water body. So the intent of this is to manage or to ensure protection of a number of shipwrecks in Ontario and St. Lawrence River. They also did speak to the tourist guides. They cited a tourist, there's a community tourist center that was established as well in the marine sanctuary. Identified that the numbers saw 100,000 visitors a year to that facility in northern Michigan. So getting anecdotal information from those individuals, that was the research I was able to address some of the concerns that were raised last week.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, if I continue. I think, we need to keep in mind that the St. Lawrence River is a very large river. In terms of its width between the American side and the Canadian side, it's far larger than most inland lakes. There's plenty of room on the St. Lawrence River for anglers, for recreational boaters, and for scuba divers. All this resolution will do is give us an opportunity to help harness the efforts of the federal government to advertise and market a long forgotten resource that is under the waves of the St. Lawrence River. I had the opportunity recently to visit Schermerhorn Landing in Hampton, Mr. Chair, and there's a company in Schermerhorn Landing that takes divers out to shipwrecks in the Hammond area. We have the opportunity to grow not only businesses in Hammond, but businesses throughout St. Lawrence County. We have a lot of dive companies already. We have a lot of divers already, but identifying the shipwrecks and making them known and helping to market them is something that we've neglected for far, far too long. If you spend any time on the Canadian shore and stop in communities like Prescott, Brockville, Gananoque and others, you'll find that the scuba diving businesses are a major tourism draw, and they're bringing visitors in from all over the world. Now that we have daily flights into Ogdensburg, we have an opportunity to bring more and more tourists into St. Lawrence County using an untapped resource that has been forgotten about for far too long. So I would urge my colleagues to join me in supporting this resolution.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to belabor this, but what I forgot to mention is my concerns in and around the commerce, the shipping industry, which is integral to our area. I'm really not even sure why we're voting on Lake Ontario, but again, if I along Lake Ontario, I would still not support this. But all of the State Department's comments were related to Lake Huron, which is in no way the St. Lawrence River, and I disagree greatly with Mr. Reagan that the St. Lawrence River is as big as he just portrayed it. When you think about the shipping industry coming up through and low water and the opportunity for the recreational use it's being highly utilized for right now, along with, again, local fishing and commerce. So I caution people, I caution this group to support this and allow this organization to come up into the St. Lawrence River, which is nothing like a lake. It's certainly nothing like an ocean, and potentially put their claws in, and then we'll have no say in anything. I asked for a roll call vote.
So I'm gonna agree with Legislator Arquette. Tony knows the river. He's traveled from Messina to the lake several times. He lives on the river for some time. And I go along with Mr. Arquette. He's actually asking for less government with this. I know from a farmer's perspective that we were able to treat just recently. They were declaring ditches as navigable waters and what farmers could do. So if you had like an area, low spot in the spring that was 100 by 100 or whatever, even smaller, it could be regulated by the federal government. Yeah, I think it was in the 90s or 2000. The federal water whatever which agency it was actually trying to regulate Randy Brook all the way up to the headlands up where Mr. Forsyth has his land, and that was an effort that was defeated. So I guess I'm wary of what we're asking for, as Mr. Reagan pointed out. The Hammond is not part of this now. You've got a firm that's actually taking people to the wrecks in Hammond. It does, and they can continue to do that. It doesn't have to be declared or administered by the federal government. So I'll be voting no against this.
My concern has been touched upon by a couple of the speakers, and that is that once the federal government gets involved, they're there forever. And while, yes, it's a long river, it is far from a big river. Just fly into Ogdensburg someday and get a look down at how really wide that river is. It's about a little more than a mile across in most places. It does spread out as it gets down to the lake, but it is not a lake. And when you're talking lakes and rivers, you're talking Huron and Ontario. Both of those lakes are greater than 30 miles across. St. Lawrence is like the drain in your bathtub compared to a lake that your tub holds. That's what we're looking at with lakes and rivers. And the St. Lawrence River is an outlet for the Great Lakes to the ocean. It is very small, and that's one of the reasons we experienced all that water here a couple of years ago, because the lakes were pumping it out, the river couldn't handle it, and it overflowed. So my concern is again, my main concern is that the federal government coming in here, trying to regulate what we do in our river, when we've already got the freedom to do it. I can't imagine that there are great numbers of people that will be drawn to the area simply because of underwater wreck. Divers, yes, we already have access to it, unfettered access to it, and it's created no problems. I'd also point out that only half of that river is in U.S. waters. So you may very well think of it as a big wide river, but when designates an area, it's going to be an area totally within United States waters. Now, how much that will interfere with and pinch upon the adjacent waters, I don't think we really know how much of these waters included in this NOAA area. So I think there's a lot of unknowns, much like the state when they come in and offer you help. Down on Long Island with their construction and the whole time. Years ago, they came in and they offered financial information to a county down there, Suffolk County. They're still there. It's still there. They haven't moved out. Much like what the federal government does. Once they have a toe hole, they're there, and I don't believe it have some time to do that. So I'll be voting against this too, only for the reason of federal government. And just take a look at what's going on in the federal government today about uncertainty and some of the wildness, if you will, that is going on there. I can't say that I'm going to trust them, what they say about NOAA and what they're going to do.
Time we first were talking about this about a year ago, I was optimistic about it. So thinking probably was tourism and so forth. The more I read about this, thanks to Tony bringing up some interesting points at the last meeting about some of the downfalls. And the more I look and see what a new administration will do from time to time in terms of control, I'm skeptical of the overregulation that may come into play if we get into this. And the paragraph that stuck out in my mind on that report we just got yesterday or the day before, planning and route, and they looked into it further. It's this one paragraph says marine sanctuaries do add regulation. They can be modified. Monterey Bay originated in 1992 and a new EIS, environmental impact statement, prepared July 20. But the current intent of Lake Ontario is not to regulate dock permitting for recreation fishing. And it does give national attention. It does put us on the map. But again, they use the word, it's not their intent now. But with the new administration, what their intent now is being told. And I just don't want any more restrictions or regulations on the river for our fishing industry, people trying to put docks in and so forth. And so I'm also going to be voting against this. So, any other discussion? Roll call vote. Okay, roll call vote.
Terminelli? Yes. Kern? Yes. Reagan?
Yes.
Forsythe?
No,
No.
Denisha?
No.
Perkins? Yes.
resolution supporting the three bills. Authorities are
I think we lost the meeting. Can you hear me, Dave? This is Renee.
It's like gone. This is crazy.
This is Renee. Can you hear me, Dave?
I can hear you, Renee.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it seems like we've lost the fair.
It's this ridiculous. It's just sad.
I think trying to do this long distance from the fair is not working, right?
No, I'm tapping out. I've had enough.
All
I
right.
text,
Good
I
night.
text, Rita, I can't hear a word. I can't. Are you hearing anything before this?
I was hearing and then it dropped. This is the second time I got out and came back in.
Pretty
And I
clearly though?
texted
Could you hear
David.
it clearly?
Not so great tonight, no. I put in my
No.
earbuds.
Yeah. Yeah, that was terrible. I didn't hear any of the first speakers. It was just terrible.
I didn't.
I know the
couldn't
intent's a
hear.
good idea, but it's just, it's not, technology's not there.
Yeah, we're not there. I agree.
All right, I'm gonna tap out.
Okay. Good night.
Have a good night.
or that the committee is prepared with the expertise to create or to revise the watershed management plan that currently exists, that was written in 2008, I believe, by experts in Liverpool. I know that they've spoken with the planning department, and the planning department is willing to work with the Black Lake Association. I think it's also important that we have stakeholders in the communities around Black Lake that are part of this watershed management plan. The last watershed management plan that was written wasn't adhered to, I think, because there was a lack of investment from the surrounding communities. So while this will take care of this year, the management plan will be key to future success of this area, and it would be the planning department and their expertise, and most likely some outside agency and funding source to revisit the watershed management plan and rewrite it for the future. It would not, could not, I don't think, lie on the heels of the Environmental Management Council. And I was asked to share that by some of the members of the EMC that were concerned with the wording in the resolution.
Go ahead.
I will support this, but I have to agree with legislator Caminelli when this is mandate. Sure. It's not going to fix anything. Then reading over the information that was presented previously, I'd like to know where the environmental friendly approach of the people's they are a long term. It takes a while for them to does consider that one of the solutions. The benefits, well, we support this because it is an important investment. It's important to the county, to the property owners there, the people that come to the tourism. So it is important to try to protect the resources that we have.
Mr. Chairman, I just not say it, because most everything's already been said. But this is, a few years ago, we were concerned about invasive species. At this point, we supported this about installation of a boat wash station for Cranberry Lake. Because invasive species ultimately erode the tax base. Cranberry Lake is Black Lake, all of our large, actually, the large body waters, and significant tax base. And we've not had an opportunity to drive from Stillwater through Edwardsville or back the other way. We should, because it's to the point where that is not a stretch there. It's a stretch. It's not valuable property. Valuable property that is losing them because of limited access to the water. So, I think this is a good thing to do. Should the DEC do something? Yes, I think they should. But the DEC, they just purchased a tract of land down in Clifton and Oakland, 8,000 acres. I think the money that they spent on adding land to gather around a park that they can't maintain as it is, and money that would have been better spent trying to eradicate invasive species in some of our waters. I think it's a good. I think it's a start. I think we need to show our support, and it can be done on a non-president basis.
Mr. Chairman,
Could I ask as a friendly amendment that we add on into that fifth, that last whereas, working with the St. Lawrence Environmental Management Council and the planning board, the planning office? If we could add that as a friendly amendment.
Who wants to second that? Okay, all right. Yeah. Okay, okay. All right, yes, go ahead.
I can't disagree, or I disagree with very little of what you said here. I understand completely the fear that this is going to become a real thing. I'm totally against that, as I am totally against a lot of other things that end up being really expensive. I do believe that the last, what you might call a scientific look at Black Lake was 8 to 10 years ago, if not longer. And at the time, there was no definitive answer arrived at as to how to deal with this epidemic of milfoil. And we're talking milfoil. Yes, there are milfoil infestations on other waterways in St. Lawrence County and in New York State. Black Lake is milfoil on steroids. That's how bad it is. If that's let go, the way the milfoil spreads, that whole lake, the north side of it, will literally be covered with it if we don't do anything. While chopping it up and getting it out of the water and disposing of it outside the water is at least keeping a good portion of the northern part of the lake free of this. It's certainly economically not useful. It's certainly not the best way of doing things. It's a Band-Aid on a bigger problem. But right now, that's all we have to work with. I've been assured by the Black Lake Association and the people that are in it that there is going to be an effort inclusive of the DEC, or at least trying to get them on board with this, and the federal government to try and come up with something to eliminate that problem, which would not only benefit Black Lake, but would benefit all of the waterways in the county that have that same problem. So it isn't something that they are looking for a fix, and then we're going to use it on Black Lake and nowhere else. It's our secret. No, that's not the way it's envisioned. And I, for one, will be a thorn in the side of these people to make sure that they follow through what they say that they're going to do, and treat this fishing mecca of Black Lake and get it so that it is all open to all of the people alongside of this. If you've never seen Black Lake, you owe it to yourself to go take a look at it. The surrounding land, the islands on it, the width of it, it is a beautiful, beautiful place. And in the summertime, the influx of people into that area is phenomenal, to say the least, with the numbers of them. That stimulates the economy. And I will say too that at least 2 other townships have provided funding for what we want to see done there, what the Black Lake Association wants to see done there right now, that we will be able to do if this passes. So I share your concerns, believe me, I do, and I respect those that can't vote in favor of this. I hope it passes, but if it doesn't, like goes out. Thank you.
Further discussion. Yes, Mr.
I just wanted to echo some of Mr. Lightfoot's comments that Black Lake is one of the major tourism drivers in that part of St. Lawrence County, and it brings tourists in from both across New York State and across the country. It's been ranked as one of the, been called a major bass factory by some of the fishing magazines, and it's well known as a place where anglers come from throughout the Northeast. And for that reason, I'm going to support this resolution. I would hope that the planning office and the Environmental Management Council would work on a program in which the shoreline owners help put matching funds in to extend the efforts of whatever approach is used to try to control the milfoil problem. It's milfoil, as everyone in this group has pointed out, is affecting many of our lakes. This is a problem that, we need a comprehensive program that can be applied to all of our bodies of water, try to address the root cause. Thank you.
I'm not going to support it. I'm not going to support it because of the things that the sponsor actually said. It's a Band-Aid. It's not economical. It's not the best solution. As Mr. Perkins pointed out, it actually is going to make it worse. We're cutting it. Well, I'm to spend $27,500 on Weevils. I would be in favor of that. This isn't the first year that they've had the problem. It's an ongoing problem. This is a stopgap measure. I think it's a waste of $27,500.
I would tell you that the people that have camps on Black Lake that are experiencing the level of the infestation that they're experiencing don't feel that way at all. That it's a waste of money. And those are some of the people that have actually gone to their town assessors asking to get their assessments reduced because they don't have the lake available to them. They can literally walk on water with growth as is currently in there. Now, that's certainly not all of those people, but there are numbers of them. They can drive down through there, come over to Ogden with some breakers and take a ride, like we did the other day. And I'll show you where it's show you the severity of the problem. I respect you.
We have a member here watching us that just approached me from the audience. They're around the building, approached me on the Sylvie Lake, Reservoir area, the Fowler area. Then my town supervisor, called me shortly after our conversation. Also, they would like to know if we can look into helping them in some way. As it is now, they've been coming up with their own funds on that lake. A lot of thousands of dollars. People are on that lake, so it's important to our tourism up here. And it's important as it's an economic driver, this water business in San Luis County. We get the water, we get the river, we get lakes, we got Ondaks. It's a big part of our fabric. So all these things. Okay, all in favor of this resolution?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No.
You could call for a roll call, but
Roll call,
for it.
please.
Roll call, okay, roll call vote.
Curran? No. Reagan?
Yes.
Forsythe? Lightfoot?
Yes.
Sheridan?
Yes.
Smithers?
Yes.
Misha?
Yes.
Perkins?
No.
Akers?
No.
Bay?
Yes.
Haggard? Yes. Bianco? Bert?
Yes.
Marquette?
Yes.
Melly? Yes. Sullivan, yes. No. One absent.
Motion carries.
Thank you to everyone.
Okay, County Administrator's report.
Few items to provide you with an update on. The first, with regard to COVID-19. Being that we're here this evening, we elected not to have Dr. Williams and Julian Over provide the update. However, with the first meeting being services next week, we thought we would provide that when we hold the meeting in order. So we'll provide you with that monthly update. There's just a few statistics I've been keeping up with for you. There were 22 new cases since our last report last Thursday. There are 45 currently active. We have moved from low to moderate transmission rate at this point. Our positivity rate is 3.24. And with regard to vaccines, our percentages have modestly improved. The first doses, we are at St. Lawrence County is at 52.6%. Full vaccination status currently is 49.9%. The 12 and over population is 60.1%, and the 65 plus continues to be our highest percentage at 82.5. So that's an update from there. We are looking from the perspective of actions being taken currently to address the increase in cases. Regionally speaking, from the North Country counties, no action's been taken to change the pace that we are on, but everyone is paying attention and preparing if modifications or return to other protocol becomes necessary. Public Health is going to be planning a volunteer appreciation event. We are, as I shared with you a number of times, very successful in getting and maintaining volunteers throughout our vaccination efforts. So we'll be looking to help them plan that event toward the end of the month. Pfizer vaccines will be offered at the fair this week with second doses available at optional locations. And these appointments will be walk-in only. The hours for those will be tomorrow 2 to 7, Wednesday 11 to 7, Thursday 11 to 6, Friday 11 to 6, and Saturday 11 to 4. So lots of opportunity for folks to be vaccinated if they'd like. Public Health is partnered with the Community Health Center of the North Country. We certainly are renewing our efforts to address the unvaccinated, both with masking and social distancing in county facilities. Our expectation is we may see a new communication from the courts. We'll continue watching for that information and pass that along to you. And we're monitoring the state's recent decision for their employees to either be vaccinated or have weekly tests conducted. Last week, as I shared with you, the control room, we hosted the control room counties here from the region. Commissioner Kulisade of Parks and Recreation, our fair mayor from Governor, and Buck and Seth joined us, who helped us through the pandemic and communication and making sure we had the best information we could. Wanted just to move on then to budget reviews. We begin those in earnest tomorrow. Timely, certainly, as we saw from Treasurer Malecki, the wrap up of our audit financials from 2020. Wanted to mention to you on your agenda this evening, I neglected to include the vacancy resolution that you're all familiar with. There were not any of the resolution requests or position requests that were declined at committee. So if there's no objection, we have a couple of ways we can deal with it. We could schedule a meeting next week to adopt or consider those in formal resolution, or a resolution could be made from the floor. So that included 12 positions from 6 departments. So I did want to mention that to you. I apologize. Vacancy review committee will be held tomorrow. We have 6 requests from 3 departments. And at finance this month, as a reminder, I'll provide you with the annual report and trend update. This Wednesday at 4 o'clock, we will hold a Zoom meeting with the Power Authority folks to discuss renewable energy program options. We certainly are excited to learn about new programs that they have. The county has never moved into the operational and maintenance side, and I think there's some new aspects of their programs that we're excited to learn about. I did want to briefly go over the schedule with you. It's a little bit unusual, certainly being at the fair tonight. Next week, we have combined committees. On the 16th, we are open. There was no meeting. On the 23rd is finance. The 30th is another open meeting night. And then we have the holiday, Labor Day on the 6th. And then the board meeting will fall on the 13th. So this is that end of summer time period where we have a few open Mondays for you. Wanted to remind you of the NISAC conference, certainly monitoring how things will be addressed by Onondaga County. That's going to be held in Syracuse, September 13th through the 15th. We do have some requests to attend that will prepare. I think we may have documentation here tonight for folks to sign. Certainly appreciate the weather. We've enjoyed this evening. Certainly the sun calmed down on this side of the house. And thank everyone for coming. This is one of our, well, mine anyway, favorite things to do to get everyone out on the road and support the county fair. As Don indicated, over 250 years. So certainly a tradition worth supporting. And then lastly, I'd like to announce to you last year in July, you remember, we launched a new website, an updated website. And tomorrow morning, our employees will come in to see the launch of our new intranet. And this is going to be somewhat of a one-stop shop for information around the county, between departments, information sharing, also a hub for all of the forums, training, and a lot of opportunities to communicate between departments. Often we're so busy, and we don't have the opportunity, and they'll see that first thing in the morning. So we're very excited about that. Again, like the website, we want to continue to evolve and improve. And so we'll be making changes as we go, but excited to roll that out for our staff. Questions?
Just want to
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Did you suggest that one of the options to address the vacancy resolution would be to move it on the floor here this evening?
It would be.
I'll move it.
Yes. Second.
Yeah.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moved.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Any old business? Any new business? Okay, go ahead.
I believe we have in front of us an opportunity to not only make the environment where our employees work safer, but at the same time, give them a choice. I've discussed with Mrs. Boyle and a few other people in the county that have much more knowledge than I do about these things. The possibility of asking them employees either get a vaccination or submit to testing on a weekly basis. I think we're seeing it at the state level. The state CSEA has agreed that it's a good idea. The colleges are very strict about employees as well as students being vaccinated. This does not remove any choice by the employees whether they want to get a vaccination or not. What it does is protect those that may have gotten the vaccination, as well as people who choose not to. And I, for one, am not going to make any comment about whether you do or not, because that's just not the area I want to get into. But what I do want to do is make it fair and safe for the employees that we have. I pointed out to Mrs. Doyle, one facility in our county, the DSS building, is very crowded. People are right on top of each other. I don't know that I would want to be working in an environment where I didn't know the vaccination status or had, not that I should be privy to it, but at least have the reassurance that people have done their due diligence. It's these new variants. There's a variant now that's coming out of South America that was just discovered in South Florida. And we don't know what's going to happen. People with vaccinations are getting COVID. It's not pretty, I can tell you from experience. That being said, I'd like to call on this body to ask Mrs. Doyle, Mrs. Dorothy, our department heads, to come up with a recommendation if they think that this is something that would be workable and helpful. And I'd ask for the support from the board.
Okay, Mr. Arthur.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Margaret, you said that the CSEA leadership, regional leadership supports this. Have you spoken with the local leadership?
Yes, I have. Yes, they are.
Thank you.
Mr. Burke.
I agree with Margaret. I think
it's not just a matter of protecting each other, our employees, but it's also a matter of protecting the public that we serve. So I think it's important to do that. And again, not to impinge on people's rights as far as refusing the vaccine, but there needs to be some assurance for the people who are vaccinated and for the public that relative safety.
Any other discussion?
So I disagree with it. We know that 40% of the medical community across the nation is not vaccinated. They've made their choices. And I think it's up to individual people to make their own choice. Whether natural immunity is actually proving out to be stronger than the vaccine itself. And whatever the reasons are. I believe that if I had small children, I would not vaccinate them. I pointed out in a public health meeting about the heart implementation. And Dr. Williams says, well, you have that with kids, over 12 anyway. A week later, the CDC says, warning about heart inflammation. So there's a lot that we don't know. And we're seeing reports from Israel and Europe where they actually, the variants are actually appearing first and coming here. I would not be in favor. I believe that testing is actually invasive. And knowing that, this individual had to go through testing would basically would be putting pressure on them. How come you don't get vaccinated? So there's a lot that we don't know. And I think I respect people's individual choice. Reiterate, 40% of the medical community is not vaccinated across the nation. Those that should have the firsthand response or exposure to it.
So anecdotally, in practice, I have seen a lot of side effects of these vaccines. Kept seeing people who had shingles after vaccines over and over again. Finally, just now, they came up with the CDC and they said, hey, we kind of think that the shingles thing is about the vaccine. We know that Guillain-Barré is about the vaccine. We know that myocarditis is about the vaccine. We know that people with clots, these are just all people I've seen in the community who have clots after the vaccine, that have had heart attacks after the vaccine, that don't look at how they are after the vaccine. I would feel very bad to ask anybody to have a vaccine and to put pressure on. If you want a vaccine, perfect. If you want to be tested every week, wonderful. I don't want one of those swabs stuck up my nose every week. It really is something to go through. For some people, they have anxiety, panic attacks, just trying to get the vaccine. I had one girl I'm giving a vaccine, and she kind of teased afterwards, probably from the anxiety of having the vaccine. So my point is, I would not feel comfortable as a provider saying to somebody, you really need the vaccine or you really need to be tested. I think I'm stomping all over your rights. I think it's higher than 40% of providers and nurses and medical staff that are not vaccinated because we've been watching the outcomes long before anybody can talk about it. If you want the vaccine, I think it should be provided free of charge, but I could not support leaning on people, which is really what we're doing if we're coming after it from a short position. I think my humble opinion.
Mr. Demisha.
I've had a lot of opportunities in different places to weigh in on this, and I always play a safe place, stepping back. But, and I support certainly an individual's choice. But just put it simply, it's put to me, it's like the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment guarantees us the right to keep and bear arms. It doesn't guarantee us the right to shoot somebody. So I look at that the same way. If you choose not to get the COVID vaccine, or you choose not to get tested, what right do you have individual, you come into an area where there are other folks and potentially infect them. The folks that you could be jeopardizing because you don't want to be tested, you don't want a vaccine, they have rights as well.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I want to reiterate, I never said I want everybody to go out and get a vaccine. Personally, yeah, I do. But I would never inflict that upon people. It is their choice. I don't want to be, as Mr. Denisha pointed out, people who aren't getting the vaccine and aren't getting tested may be the people that are carrying this disease and prolonging it. I do not want to see our businesses have to go through what they went through. I do not want our employees to have to go through what many of them went through. We have a way to address this, which doesn't say at all, I want you to get the vaccine and I'm going to put pressure on you. I feel like it's coming down the pipe. I don't know how the state is going to do this. I just feel like as a board, we could be proactive and do this for our employees. Thank you.
Mr. Smithers.
I think we've made a lot of progress as far as this coronavirus goes. Or we were back 5-6 months ago. And that is because of the vaccination. I made my choice to get vaccinated, to protect myself. I feel protected. I'm not living in fear. People are unvaccinated are going to endanger my health because I feel like taking a step to protect them. That's what I should do. So I think I don't want to go backwards by reinstating some of these restrictions or mandates. So I guess I agree with Kevin that I think people have made the choice, as I have, and a lot of other people have, whether to or not to. And I don't want to subject them to getting tested or putting pressure on to get vaccinated. So I don't want to support that.
Any other discussion? Well, I think we should look for the state to do better guidance for us. In terms of what regulations are, what they're enforcing, what they're not doing. Awful lot we don't know about what the governor's announced, details and so forth. We want to make any decisions where we're jumping ahead of what could be mandated and what's not mandated. As it is now, it's not mandated. Public program. And I like that when I hear not mandated. I'm going to stick to that part. Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The point is, Mrs. Hager, legislative proposes that as a resolution or just discussion.
I'm bringing it up. Thank you.
Yeah, is it discussion? Or
Yes.
It's discussion.
Yes. I may bring forward a resolution, but I would like, I think that people like Mrs. Doyle, our public health people, department heads, certainly legal, would give me us input, and I'd like to hear from them. They know a lot more than.
Just like.
Well, I understand that there's a lot to look at to achieve this. And I would certainly want to see how resolution would work before I would pass on in this arena, how I feel about it. But there are a lot of unknowns too. If people want to get tested every week, who pays for it? Who provides the testing? How, I think that's one of the things that is going to have to be addressed and put some flesh on. Is the county going to pay for this? If we mandate something by resolution,
I don't know. So there are costs, or there could be costs. With respect to the governor, it seems to me that I just read something that the governor said that he's done giving orders with respect to COVID, that he's passing it on down to the counties. Lucky you, Mr. Chair. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns. In the face of that, he just gave an order that completely contradicts what he said initially. So we really don't even know how we stand at the state. As far as mandating something, I don't think that we have the right to do or the obligation to mandate someone to be tested or get the shot. I understand. I think that if we're worried about it, and I was worried about it, just because of the number of people that we all meet on a daily basis. I think that my thought was, I'm going to protect myself. And I think that there are people out there that are concerned about their own health and haven't had the test. And I know people that haven't, that they should avail themselves of that. If there's good conscience involved in their decision to not get the vaccination because of how it was constructed, that's a whole other ball of wax that individuals have to deal with morally, and I can understand that too. So we're walking on some pretty thin ice if we go too far in how we address this. And I would just say, we need an abundance of caution in whatever it is that we are going to offer as a resolution. And I think that once that's set, gives us an opportunity to weigh in.
Right. So you heard Bruce talk tonight that in the population of 65 and up, we have 82% coverage of actually been fully vaccinated. So if you look at who's dying of virus, 78% of the deaths in this country are 70 and up. And most of that 78% have comorbidities, whether it's obesity or diabetes or heart problems. So as far as the county itself, those that are vulnerable in St. Lawrence County, the vulnerable population would be our elderly population. 82% have made the choice of going to be fully vaccinated. They've done that. So if you look at the reports, but 21 individuals over the weekend, 22. So that's about 7 a day. And that's been what we've been averaging for quite some time here now. So I don't think that we're in position. If you look at our numbers, if you look at it analytically, like Mr. Perkins saying, where's the analysis? Give me some data. Let's look at the data. And this is the vulnerable population has made that decision to protect themselves. So, granted, we do know that those that have been vaccinated can get the COVID again, but they're surviving. So let's look at the data.
So, satisfied with our answers?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. And there will not be a resolution coming in front of us.
Not this evening,
Not this evening.
but I do appreciate everybody's input. Thank you very much.
Okay, any other new business? Well, committee reports? Anybody have committee reports we want to talk about? No? Good. Executive session, we're not going to vote for that. We have to have a vote on that. We're not going to have a vote on that. We're going to wait for next week with this. Chair's appointments, I don't have any. And someone want to move for chair? Mr. Ray.